Definitely, I would really consider moving out. But again, I think it's very hard to move out at this current economic state.
I think my parents both treasure privacy and they understand that we also have to be independent on our own.
我想你要这样独立都1年多，我轻松了1年多。
Sometimes staying apart or nearby is better, reduce the conflict.
你觉得如果没有和父母住在一起会不会是一个不孝顺的一种行为啊？你怎么看？
我觉得不，哇，我不会我是觉得 OK 啊，是比较对他好，对我也好咯，这样咯，比较自由这样啊，比较自由咯啊，过自己的生活啦。我觉得不要住在一起会比较好，好像我女儿这样啊，没有住在一起会比较好。小事情有时候会来看他做东西，连他我看我不顺眼，连他看我不顺眼这样，然后就会 argue 这样咯啊。这样没有住在一起会比较轻咯，会比较轻一点。
那他们会多久来找你们探望你们吃饭之类这些？
我通常每个星期都会去跟他们吃饭
哦。
Yeah.
Actually no, not really. Okay, for me right, I feel like is when you actually totally forget about parents and you only come to them when you need them. Yeah, so I guess a lot of them, right, if they move out, right, they still make it a habit to move in. Or on occasions, they will still ask their parents out. Or when they travel, they also ask their parents out. So or otherwise, right, they will constantly like say, go back for dinner first. Then after that, before they go back to their own place. So that's why I think all these simple acts, right, also plays a part. It doesn't mean that you stay together, right, you're being filial. A lot of them stay together, but they cannot be bothered. So they just treat their parents' home as a hotel. They come, they wake up, do their things, they go out. Late at night they come back again. So it's the actions, it's the how you actually show the relationship, show your care and concern. That's most important.
Moving out, no, I don't. As long as there's that valid reason, because one thing about us, once we are married, right, we have to look after our own family. So I think someone has to be the head of the household. So our parents, who used to be the head of the household, they will continue their lives, but once we have our own family, we will have our new family, and then someone else in our family will have to be the new head. So there won't be so much friction, because sometimes there could be friction arising from intergenerational people staying together, and then it can create more issues actually.
关系会不会变得更好啊？没有一起住这样子。
我觉得会。一起住摩擦比较多一点会的。我们会唠叨吗？好像会比较依赖性啊，他们像我2个女儿结婚了哈，我有时候跑来跑去了2边，走到哪里都要坐到哪里。我简直都没有休息呀！我想你要这样独立都1年多，我轻松了1年多。
What criteria should they consider before they're moving out from the parents?
Sufficient funds, a lot of CPF, money fly. Your reno all fly away.
Definitely is money.
Yeah.
Like you think about it, a rent will be like almost like half your pay. You can like move out to like a single room at most. Like I'm thinking about people my age and around. So the might as well just stay with your parents, save that extra $1,000 expense.
怕被唠叨吧，然后想有自己的空间去做一些自己想做的事情，因为有的时候在家里不是很方便，因为父母跟年轻人的思维是有一定的代沟，然后可能父母有的时候不是很理解他们就会想有一个个人的空间去做一些自己想做的事情，不被打扰，就这样。
请问你是新加坡本地人吗？
不是，我是中国人。
那你想和父母住在一起吗？
我已经在和父母住在一起。
有没有考虑过未来会搬出去住呢？
暂时没有。
So are you single or married?
I'm single.
Are you staying with your parents?
I'm staying with my dad. So my mom, she only comes over the weekend.
Will you consider moving out in the future?
Actually, this is my own house. So my parents, their old house has been rented out. So they're like earning passive income, and then they can just retire. If I get married, I would have to hear from my partner if I get married whether she would prefer to stay with my parent, and if she's able to accept it, then I think that would be better lah, because it's always better to stay with your family members.
Yeah, I'm single.
Are you staying with your parents?
Yes, I'm staying with my parents.
Will you consider moving out in future?
Definitely, I would really consider moving out. But again, I think it's very hard to move out at this current economic state and house pricing.
Single.
Are you staying with your parents?
Yeah. Leaving my parents still.
Okay. Will you consider moving out in the future?
Yeah, I will consider moving out because I want to make my parents proud, make them feel assurance that I'm able to live by myself in the future, and also when they are old and they retire, I'm able to take care of myself.
Singapore local?
Yes, I am.
Are you staying with your parents?
No, we recently got our own house. Like we moved into our own house about 2 years ago.
Will you invite them to stay together with you?
I think my parents both treasure privacy and they understand that we also have to be independent on our own. We have the luxury of everyone owning their own houses. So at the rate that we're going right now, not yet. But in the event that someone falls ill, then highly likely somebody might move in with us.
Let's say if you're moving out, right? Will you parents agree with that?
I think it's natural for the mama bird to let go of the baby bird out of the nest.
Oh.
So it's a process that they would understand.
What are the difference between you staying with your parent and moving out?
The difference would definitely be like comfort, like food and stuff, and also like expenses is skyrocketed. Your parents won't there be there to support you. But again, I guess you gain a lot of experience which money can't buy. And in the future, nonetheless, you have to move out in one way or another. I feel like moving out is like something is part and parcel of life. Will happen one. So it's like better to get out and get more exposure than to suffer longer in the end.
So most of the time, the interaction is via video. Of course, if it's through a video, right, you realize that there's always something missing. Yeah. So compared to if you're staying together, of course, in terms of the touch is stronger, the bonding is also stronger. So there's pros and cons, but then again, we have to try to seek a compromisation. Like if you want to stay together on the longer term.
以前的人老人家比较传统呢，我觉得咯，通常都会跟他们住在一起的。像比如说我家我的老公他们有4个兄弟姐妹，连他们的父母一定要跟大儿子住在一起的，一定要的。连小的你要搬出去住就 OK 了，是这样的咯。他们要其中一个儿子跟他住的，以前的老人家了。
Young people that want to move out from parents, right? What impact does this cause to their parents? Yeah.
Having another watchful eye and assistance, because when we move out, we understand that we are at a certain age and our parents are at a certain age and they are not as agile or as well as they used to be when we were younger. So when we move out, I think that's the one downside, is that we do not know what's going on at home and whether they are okay or not. And especially if parents that do not like constantly check on you, or they, you know, everyone understands that everyone else is busy, so they don't always tag on you. I do feel that there's a constant worry as to whether everything at home is okay or not. And I think the downside of it is when we move out, there's lesser people at home, so there's a lot of resources wasted. Like for example, cooking. Like now everybody's like they're cooking for 2, we're cooking for 3, and it's a waste compared to cooking for 5 people.
I really don't think there'll be any negative impact, and neither positive. It's like, I think if something happens in like other countries, it's just that in Singapore, housing prices are like sky high and stuff. That's why it's like a new phenomenon, but I really think it's just part and parcel of life. It's not like people are going to move out and never going to meet their parents again. They're still going to meet every now and then, every weekend or holidays. Yeah, so I don't think there'll be any impact. Or most, I guess the parents could save extra money on like taking care of one less head, or the children will have to spend more money since they're on their own. Yeah, besides that, I don't think there'll be any like negative or positive impact.
跟父母住在一起，当然我觉得父母年纪越大，越希望有孩子的陪伴，所以我觉得他们是更想跟孩子住在一起的。
因为他们想要跟孩子多交往的时间嘛，是这样一个情况。
应该是，我觉得应该是啊，而且孩子毕竟是自己的宝贝嘛，就是已经想看到他们生活中的喜怒哀乐啊，然后参与到他们的生活这样。
那比如说你结婚了之后，你会不会考虑搬出去住呢？
我这个目前还没有打算啦，但是如果我结婚的话，我肯定是打算要再买一套房子，然后可能看我另一半的态度咯。
我不觉得会有影响呢，讲我是没觉得影响，他们还是会有关心我们这些。
就是说，他不一定是要跟你一起住才算是关心这样子。
对对对，不是要天天见面啦。你都对了他几十年了，你还不放手啊
？You see, maybe feel lonely lah. Feel lonely. Suddenly, let's say, if you just imagine in the old days, every day very noisy. Suddenly, everyone quiet. I think very lonely here lah. If someone, let's say, still have job, maybe okay, go to job, have fun, find some new friends. But sometimes, if one more, let's say, every day staying home, watch TV. I think maybe lonely and get older. Also maybe have the issues lah. You have to adjust yourself lah. Have to adjust yourself lah.
Actually, usually, so I from what I see is most of the parents nowadays, they are very open-minded. In fact, they encourage their kids to go out. Because if you stay with your parents, right, then you are still under protection. That means you expect them to take care of your living style, cook for you, do your chores for you, things like this. So you can never be independent. In fact, when you stay out, right, then you start to realize that, you start to appreciate what your parents did for you in the past. You realize that, no wonder they always worry about meals, worry about the cleanliness of the house. Because now you need to take care of on your own. That's why staying out, right, it's not really a bad thing. But it's just that if you choose to move out, maybe just to choose a location that's nearer to your parents' place, so that you can at least make an effort to visit them, like say once or twice or bi-weekly, so that they will not feel that by moving out they're losing you. That's the thing.